Welcome to Brothers of the Word, because, brother, you need the Word. And today we will be reading from the book of Matthew, the first book of the New Testament, and the 16th chapter. It's a verse that you've heard many times before, verses 13 through 20 of the 16th chapter of the book of Matthew, the King James Version. And it reads, "When Jesus came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, 'Whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am?' And they said, 'Some say that thou art John the Baptist, some Elias, and others Jeremiah, or one of the prophets.' He saith unto them, 'But whom say ye that I am?' And Simon Peter answered and said, 'Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God.' And Jesus answered and said unto him, 'Blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood hath not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven. And I say also unto thee, that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. And I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven.' Then charged ye his disciples that they should tell no man that he was Jesus the Christ." And for a few minutes today, I want to just talk to you from the subject, do you know who Jesus is? Do you know who Jesus is? Just turn to the person next to you and just ask them, do you know who Jesus is? Jesus asked the disciples, "Whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am?" If you notice there, he did not say, "Whom do men say that I, the Son of God?" He said, "Whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am?" There is a difference between the human portion and the divine portion. All of us are mixtures of dust and divinity. And there was a part that men knew of Jesus, and they could see the man part. But there was another part of Jesus that was not visible to the naked eye. It was not even discernible by the earthly senses. It was only discernible by something that was deeper, something that was higher, something more spiritual, to be able to discern the divine portion. So Jesus asked the disciples, "Whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am?" Some said John the Baptist. Now the thing about John the Baptist was killed in chapter 14 when Herod beheaded him. So they knew that John the Baptist was no longer alive because Herod had chopped his head off. But yet they said John the Baptist. And then they said, some say you are Elias or Elijah. Elijah had been dead. He died in the Old Testament. So Elijah had been dead for hundreds of years. So some said that he was Elijah. And then they said, and some of the other prophets, Jeremiah dead hundreds of years. Everyone whom they referred to as to who Jesus was dead. Now back in that day, they believed in what's called the Transmigration of Souls. In modern terminology, we call it reincarnation. They believed heavily in reincarnation back then. That's why every one of the people they asked who Jesus was said fundamentally, Jesus is the reincarnated such and such. This is where he came from. Now, it sounds ridiculous, but it's a whole lot of folk believe that today. For example, if you go to Tibet and you look at the Dalai Lama, well, you know how they picked the Dalai Lama? They said the Dalai Lama is a reincarnation of one of the old Dalai Lamas. And they'll go and find a child who they believe is the reincarnation of one of the former Dalai Lamas. Hinduism believes in reincarnation. Sikhism believes in reincarnation. Buddhism believes in reincarnation. Some even of the Jewish sects, such as those who follow the Kabbalah and the Hasidic Jews, they believe in reincarnation. Among the world religions and among the non-religious, there are actually more people who believe in reincarnation than who do not. So even if you ask folk today, not 2,000 years ago, even if you ask folk today, most of the people worldwide will say that Jesus is a reincarnation of someone else. But Jesus asked them, "But whom do ye say that I am?" The interesting thing about this is he did not just ask Peter. He asked all of the disciples, all 12 of them. It looked like the rest of them didn't know. He didn't just ask Peter, he asked all of the disciples. It looked like the rest of them didn't know. And Peter piped up. Do you know sometimes you can be with someone, travel with them, eat with them, sometimes even be in the same home with them, grow up with them, and you still don't know who they are? Sometimes you'll hear some people when something serious is happening. I just didn't know they were like that. I didn't even know. Sometimes you can be with someone, be they great or evil, and you not even know truly who they are. But whom do ye say that I am? And Simon Peter answered and said, "Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God." And Jesus answered and said unto him, "Blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood have not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven." Do you know the first thing that you get when you really know who Jesus is a blessing? The first thing you get when you really know who Jesus is a blessing. First thing Jesus said to Peter, "Blessed art thou. Blessed art thou." Many of us are trying to get a blessing from all the wrong places. The minute you truly know who Jesus is, blessings come from that knowledge. Blessed art thou, Simon, because flesh and blood have not revealed this to you. And he said, "You are the Son of the living God." I got another whole revelation about that. And oftentimes, things that are in the Bible, they exist in truth on multiple levels. He's the Son of the living God. Now, God lives, But there is another understanding of the word living. He is the Son of the living God, meaning that Jesus, when you really know Jesus, it's going to affect how you are living. He's not just the Son of a God way up in the heavens. He's the Son of the living God. And if you really know Jesus, it's going to affect the way that you live. People are going to be able to see a change in your life. He's not just God who is alive, he's the Son of the living God. And I can tell you this, people, if people cannot see Jesus in your life, you don't know Jesus. You're like a whole lot of those folk who they came to Jesus and the Lord said, Lord, we've worked miracles in thy name. We've cast out demons in thy name. We've done all this in thy name. Jesus said, get away from me, you workers of evil. I never even knew you. You see, if people cannot see something in your living, you don't really know Jesus. He is the Son of the living God. People ought to be able to just see the way you walk and talk and think and the vibration that's around you. And they ought to be able to tell it's something different about you. Gandhi, who is one of the other religions who believes in reincarnation, Gandhi says this. He says, if the world knew the Christ of Christians, they would accept him. But because they know the Christians of Christ, they reject him. If they knew the Son of the living God, I had an experience a couple of weeks ago. Again, I was on 42. I was just moving into the first week of Raw, and I had left church that Sunday, and I went over to there's a sandwich shop called Jimmy John's. And Jimmy John's has a veggie sandwich, but they make it with just lettuce instead of bread. It's called an unwich. So you can order a number 6 unwich. If you leave off the cheese and leave off the mayonnaise, there's nothing in it but vegetables wrapped up in lettuce. So my oldest son and I, we went to Jimmy John's, and I went inside and I ordered me several unwiches. And he ordered him unwiches, but he doesn't like cucumbers, so he ordered his without cucumbers. So we actually had 6 unwiches coming. So I told him, I said, look, you stay in here, I paid for it. You stay and bring the sandwiches. I'm going out and sit in the car. I walked outside, and as I walked outside, there was a man coming towards me. And I could tell from the way that he walked, the way that he was dressed, that he was economically challenged. And he walked up to me and he said, look, can you help me out with some spare change? One of the things with 42 is that you are required to give someone something material each day. Something I'm required to do anyway is to help someone every day. And I went in my pocket and I pulled out my wallet, and I had ones, I had a couple of 5s, a couple of 10s, and some 20s. And I reached in my wallet and I pulled out a 20, folded it up, and handed it to the man. And when the man got it and then unfolded it, his eyes just lit up. And he said, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hallelujah. Brothers of the word, when the voice of God is heard, brothers of the word, there's a word from God for everyone. Brothers of the word, because brother, you need the word. Brother,